News investigation into growing concerns about the nation's aging nuclear power plants. Are they prepared for the ravages of climate change and for natural disasters like the recent Hurricane Ian? Cynthia McFadden with an alarming wake-up call.
Tonight, the looming question. What if Hurricane Ian had moved 150 miles east and struck Miami? Might its 50-year-old nuclear power plant, Turkey Point, have ended up endangering the community it serves?
You can't operate a nuclear plant if it's an island in the middle of a storm.
Local environmentalist Rachel Silverstein, a marine biologist, fears Turkey Point is not ready and has challenged the plant's license.
We're very concerned that Turkey Point is cutting corners and is not doing all of the assessments that it needs to do to run this plant into the future safely.
But Florida Power and Light says it's more than ready, pointing out the plant withstood Hurricane Andrew, a massive Category 5 30 years ago. Silverstein says that doesn't mean it could these days.
Thousands forced to flee from the path of a radioactive leak.
She points to a plant in Fukushima, Japan, hit by an earthquake and tsunami that left 120 square miles of land that may well be uninhabitable for generations. Greg Yatsko, the former chair of the Nuclear Regulatory Commission under President Obama, says Fukushima caused him to have a change of heart about nuclear power.
We have to stop pretending accidents aren't going to happen. We have to be honest and talk about them, be candid about it.
Especially as plants age. Most U.S. nuclear plants are already 40 years old, and nowhere in the world has one operated longer than 53 years.
It's game over for this region if we get this wrong.
And many are in increasingly vulnerable locations. Since Turkey Point was built in 1967, the sea here has risen 8 inches, and the pace is accelerating. And while its nuclear reactors are elevated about 18 feet above sea level, the massive cooling system highlighted in green, essential for maintaining the nuclear core, is not. Another concern, there's about 1,500 metric tons of radioactive waste stored right here next to the bay. We asked the Secretary of Energy, Jennifer Granholm, about that.
When you look at the satellite images of where those are stored right next to Biscayne Bay, you kind of gulp and say, let's move them.
Gotta move them. Yeah.
Gotta move them.
But the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, whose chair was appointed by President Biden, has made no such demand. We pressed Secretary Granholm about where the nation's nuclear waste could go.
There are some people who say, listen, you've got to solve the nuclear waste problem.
Totally
It's accumulate. Nobody's been able to do it.
We're going to do it.
You're going to look me in the eye and say, in the next 3 years,
that's the hope, is that we will have a place identified.
But for 4 decades, the Energy Department has failed to find a place to put radioactive waste, impacting power plants in 33 states. Meanwhile, the Biden administration has secured billions to prop up unprofitable plants nationwide.
do you look at the $6 billion for nuclear plants as a bailout? It's only going to those who aren't making money.
Yeah, it's, I would say it is a form of a bailout, sure. It is a form of, let's keep these going.
What's the plan about rising sea level?
Yeah, I mean, if there is a danger with rising sea level, impacting a plant, the plant should be shut down.
But the NRC is not raising the alarm about that either, saying sea level rise happens so slowly, it's not an urgent priority. Nor does the NRC require a test of the aging metal surrounding the nuclear core to confirm it's safe. Turkey Point hasn't done it for 20 years. The NRC says mathematical models run by the plant are good enough.
Is nuclear power safe?
It is. In fact, our Nuclear Regulatory Commission has the most rigid safety protocols of any.
Because we know that a mistake could be catastrophic.
Of course, and that's why we doubled down in the nuclear space.
But many scientists say with climate change, it is no longer acceptable to rely on good safety records from the past. Turkey Point declined our interview request, but told us it is ready for natural disasters stronger than the region has ever seen and believes it can operate safely until it's 80 years old. As for Secretary Granholm, she says nuclear reactors can operate until they're 90. Lester?